support of the riots that have been going on, because if anybody's going to use their voice in support of the riots and have nothing come back to them in the form of repercussions, it's going to be a white person. The riots that have been going on are not just senseless violence. The destruction of capital and property is exactly part of the revolution that needs to happen. When the police come out here, they're not coming out here to protect the protesters. They're coming out here to protect the capital and the property of these buildings that people have been destroying. Who do you think that human lives and black lives might have next to private property? This has been going on for hundreds of years. The police, as an organization, was founded originally to protect private property, not human lives, but private property. And that is why people are destroying as much as they can, not homes, not apartment buildings, not small businesses, but large firms, property of the police, in order to destroy the capital that creates the stratification between groups of people inherently. No destruction of the concept of whiteness, we have the destruction of property.
Okay, so the mayor is here, and I want her to come up and speak. So I ask y'all to please be respectful, not say anything during this time she's speaking. I will tell y'all to shut up on the y'all. Even if y'all don't agree with her, please be quiet and let her say what she has to say, because she is a part of the city, and she is the person that can help us make changes in this world. So
Be quiet. Shut up.
good evening. Thank you for what you stand for. Thank you for advocating for peaceful demonstration of the need for justice and equality for everyone in our city, in our state, and across this country. Your message is powerful, it is important, and I hear it. And I see you. And you are beautiful. And you matter. Black lives matter. We've worked to support peaceful demonstrations and calls for change because we know that they are important and we want your voices heard. What we don't want is your bodies to be hurt. And there are people who are taking advantage of these instances and these calls for change, and they're leading to violence, destruction, and chaos because they're taking advantage and trying to sow division at the very moment that we need unity. We have to walk the walk together, the walk towards equality, kindness, civility, and justice. Those are our shared values. And we have a ways to go on that walk. Racism exists in this country. It's despicable. It's horrific what happened to George Floyd and so many others. And I'm outraged, and you're outraged, and more people should be outraged. I invite you to continue to be a part of the change, because the march can't just be today or over the weekend. The march towards justice is a march we have to make every day. And I promise, as your mayor, that I am on that march with you. that I agree with you and that we want to support you. But please be safe. All right, y'all. I have a couple of questions for the mayor. I come from the big city. I come from Houston, and since I've been out here, I haven't seen no slavery, no nothing. Y'all don't have nothing to do out here for no young people, and I wonder why. How are y'all expect us to do anything if there's nothing but? How are we supposed to have fun? How are we supposed to hang out with our friends?
Are we allowed to go home?
Everyone should know.
You guys think about more fun things for young people to do in our community. I certainly want that for you. We've been working on different plans for downtown, taking the space under the overpasses closer to the Haymarket. Conversations about what would be fun to have for outdoor spaces in our community. Plans for a big park with a water feature and places for concerts. We want the Pershing blocks to be revitalized and to offer more outdoor spaces. If there are things you're interested in having in Lincoln, we want to hear from you because we want what we build to mean something.
What about after curfew?
If you want to reach me, you can do that online or mayor@lincoln.ne.gov. That is the best way to submit your ideas, and we'll reach out and respond.
March with us. Why don't you have the fraternal order of police deal with us instead of shooting us?
We all want peace.
Fraternal order of police 88.
Get down, bro. Stop that. Get down, bro. Literally, get out here.
They started shooting. They started cheering on. You guys can't say something and then you actually you have so much power and you have no, you're the mayor. Walk with us. What do you think the headline would say if they see the mayor leading our party? White people are going to be the ones to help us make that change. All the police officers that claim that they're with us,
Literally stand with us.
Hey. Our mayor is here now. And P. Ricketts wouldn't be here now. She did set out some riot limits. She's doing the best she can. Let her put the riots out. Our peaceful protesters have nothing to worry about, right? We're not rioters, right? Right? This is the problem. This is the flaw in this movement that we all have. We on the road. Look at this. We all have different. I get it. We all got questions. We all right. There's a reason we out here. If we did our question, like, come on, we all just talk what it is. We're not even allowed her speak. Listen, you know why? You know why? She's not here for us. She's here for the media. Okay, so listen. Let me keep going. Don't clap. Let me keep going. I don't want to be the one taking over. I want to be y'all got to get to a certain point, bro. Y'all got to leave. I don't get it. Come on. Y'all got to speak with it together. Come on. The Vikings all speak. Great. Let's get to it. Come on. Everyone got questions. We all outraged. We all mad. Come on now.
So I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. With Kellan going at the same time, I stepped back a little bit. You can see where I am with my management behind me. And I'm not sure you can tell, but there's been kind of an effort by the leaders out there to get the management along with the group. I can't tell if she's reluctant or if she's going to. People that kind of wanted to ask questions as well. One person did, she responded to that, and then others did. And now she's been talking to the people. Kellan's got a good shot of it up front. And guys, feel free to take me out if you can't hear me very well. I know I'm wearing a mask and I've got one of my earpieces in. And maybe you've brought him down. It doesn't sound like there's a lot happening. Okay, looks like there's a girl. We'll pull them back up now.
Like, you're saying that I'm not the problem. Well, black people aren't the problem, but they're still getting killed. So, yeah, I'm not the problem. We should be able to go longer than that. That it is what it is. Exactly. Nine o'clock is not late enough. I'm sorry, but it's not. I want to be out here until my legs fall off, until I can't breathe. I want to be out here for the fire. The virus is still going on.
Okay. It looks like I'm the only one on here. I wanted to keep that audio up. This gal here is trying to argue with the management to send her phone and send it back to Kellan because there's some good audio up there. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to put me on here.
Yeah, if you're not speaking, can we get you guys to sit down so we can like see and stuff?
Your child that was unarmed was murdered in the street while being recorded. If it's your kid on the street being murdered unarmed, recorded by everybody, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay silent, or are you going to get out here and march with us? That's the question. Are you going to get out here and march with us, or are you going to stay quiet? 4 children.
That's the point. Are you going to walk or are you going to stand silent? I've been at your demonstrations and rallies. I have stood with you. I have not tried to take the microphone from you because I came to listen and I came to hear and to see. And you are absolutely right. I have friends who have to have terrible conversations with their black children about how to be safe, about extra steps they have to take that white kids don't have to take, and that's not right. I have a friend who, when she was pregnant, she was hoping for a black daughter instead of a black son because she thought she had to worry just that much less about a black daughter, and that's not right. I know that there are people who saw what happened here on this street and said, this is the Lincoln. Well, because of course that's not the Lincoln we want for everyone. But there are differences in the way people experience Lincoln and the way they experience America. We live with incredible contrast in opportunity and the way people are treated. And we are the ones that have to make it change. And I appreciate that you are calling for recognition of the unfair, unequal treatment of some in our society by those who would judge them by the color of their skin instead of the content of their character. That is unacceptable truth in 2020. It's an unacceptable truth in the past. The future, we want to make the future better. We are going to have to do together and work together.
And no deal with us. You can walk with us all you want. You can march with us. You can deal with us. So were you the one who shot tear gas at all of us while we were peacefully protesting? Were you the one who shot his brother in the back of the head with a rubber bullet? No. So all that crazy stuff needs to end. We're not stopping. We're in peaceful protest. But we're going to be resistant. We're going to be resistant. We're not stopping shit.
We're all outraged. That's why we're here. We all have something to say. You hear what she said? We all got questions. We all got something to add on to that. You gotta listen. But listen to her.
Look here. I have been in this community for 55 years. I have 7 children up in here. So it's bigger than me. I live down the street. And had y'all called me to come and speak for you, I would have. I came my damn self. I was down here this morning at the police station. I was here this morning. I got the protesters that got arrested. I helped this because I keep my ear to the ground. I saw what happened here last night. Y'all don't know the military was back there waiting on y'all. I rode down 9th Street and saw them. I called the police station and said, if you want them to disperse, I'm the one. They told me, stay your ass at home. What you do? Ask that again. You saying, what you do? I stayed home. Like I said, I have 7 kids. I'm important in the community. I don't need them killing me. Right. Yeah. No. If anybody understands your pain, it's me. Sherdell Lewis was shot next door to my house when I was a child. And I saw my parents protest at that Capitol over there. Let's say some names in the community that died here under police. I want y'all to repeat after me. Sherdell Lewis. Sherdell Lewis. Sherdell Lewis. Sherdell Lewis. Marky Hicks. Marky Hicks. They were killed by the police in this community. And it was unfounded. It should not have happened. And don't you think we wanted to come burn this motherfucker down? We want to. But there's a way to do things. In my community, I'm considered probably as, I ain't shit. I do this by myself. I came down here, I was trying to smoke a pack of cigarettes this morning. And the Lord said, take your ass down there and see if you can talk to the police, see if you can talk to the mayor. I love my community. I love y'all. Y'all matter to me. I probably know half of y'all's mamas and daddies. Aunties, grandma, all that. I am covered by all of the different villages. They call me Crafty, baby. The indigenous women named me that because they said I've been here before. My mind is above everybody else. I'm a reincarnation of the ancestors. That's right. Right, so far right. I live down the block and I do not want to see what I saw last night. I saw y'all turn y'all's back to show them that y'all wasn't trying to be aggressive. And they shot at you anyway. You want us to have a silent protest, but when we do it, you shoot us in the tail back.
Powerful messages here on KLIN. Kellan Heavican. It's a couple hundred here gathered outside the city county building. Apologies that it is difficult to hear our speakers. The mayor is down here. She's spoken a couple times.
That one y'all to look bad. They're gonna blame the black community for whatever y'all do. Don't give them that. Use your intelligence. If you want to rock and do some stuff in the community and show them how it's done, look for Andrea Evans. Let me up right now. Andrea Evans on Facebook. I've been up for 3 days. Them girls that got ran over by a white man, I heard he didn't get arrested. Did he get arrested? Hell no. If it was my black ass, you know I'd be under the jail. I have a bachelor's degree in social work. My college don't even me. I don't give a damn because I rock with the Lord. I'm covered in the blood. That's why I'm here right now. I need y'all to understand. We need you. Every last one of you. It ain't just Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. I don't think you heard me. All lives matter. I ain't just black. I look black. But I come from the indigenous tribes too.
More powerful words coming from some of Lincoln's residents here outside the county city building. Mayor's spoken. There is a 9 p.m. curfew.
It's about Parliament. Y'all like that. Together and fight for our lives. I want you to put your hands up in the air. No, I know. Listen, look. That's the problem with y'all fall. They don't listen. Y'all gotta listen. We're tired of listening. Come on, young black man, you gotta listen. What I'm saying is, I have solutions. I just told you, I'm angry in heaven. Hit me up. Hit me. We ain't gotta tell everybody what the fuck we doing.
So we got one speaker here, the woman with the yellow shirt. Says she lives down the street from the city county buildings, lived here for 55 years. And then we have a second conversation with the mayor, and it looks like that she's leaving.
Reach out to Andrew in heaven. I'll show you what I can do. I'm rocking with you. Life ain't fair. Not only that life is fair, life ain't fair with nobody. We won't have equal rights unless you vote for the right official. Then protest. Stand your ground. I want y'all to know that somebody cares. Somebody cares. I do care. They don't care about us. People don't care about you or me. I'm gonna recognize the power. Why did Daniel leave? He's on the phone, guys. I know you said care, but I can't.
So the mayor is still here. She's just off. I know Jack Mitchell had a quick shot with the mayor a little bit ago. There's conversations. Been peaceful so far. A couple of more tense moments, but nothing has happened.
One thing we all want to be heard, right? That's why we out here. We all want to be heard. But nobody wants to listen. We all want to be heard. We all want to make a point, but no one wants to listen.
I should add that the only police presence that we have are a sheriff's SUV and an LPD cruiser at the south end of the block. There's no police presence to our north. We can see a couple of law enforcement officers inside the city county building, but that's it. We did have a chopper overhead earlier, but I have not heard the chopper for a while. It's Kellan Heavican and Jack Mitchell downtown outside the city county building on 1400 KLIN. June 1st, it's the fourth night of protests in Lincoln, Nebraska.
You have to come together. Whoever is speaking, you have to come together. Y'all want to play? Stop fighting each other. Come together.
And the claps are from a call to unity from this young man who's speaking right now.
It's gonna sound impossible. Well, all of us have to come together with them. Whatever we do tonight, no matter if y'all destroyed Lincoln, there's still gonna be the police. Racism is still gonna exist. There's still gonna be injustice. It don't matter what y'all do, so really, we have to come together.
Young man that is speaking now without the megaphone in front of us is talking about perspectives and how perspectives need to change in order to solve the problem that we face. The mayor did speak momentarily for a while, and then I think Jack Mitchell said that she's taking a phone call whether she remains or not. We are approaching the 9 p.m. curfew. It's been the peaceful demonstration protest so far outside the city county building. Only 2 law enforcement vehicles are seen to the south, so the police presence, or law enforcement presence, excuse me, is to this point relatively none. But I would say a few hundred, 300 people maybe be gathered here. Looks like we're getting more calls for people to talk here. This is a different tenor of the protests than what we've seen.
We are trying to pull the point, we're trying to make a difference. Okay? We all got pressure, we all right. Okay? We all tired. Okay? We all feel each other's pain. We all do. It's not about you because you're white. It's not about you because you're whatever color. Listen, it's not about us. We feel each other. What about the ones that aren't here? The white supremacists, the ones that are here about to rise the fucking city tonight. What about the other cities? What about Chicago? Okay, what about Minneapolis? Okay? It's deeper than what y'all really think, man. Think about the future. You mad right now. I feel your pain, bro. Okay, I'm mad too. My brother got shot. He almost died last night. You don't think I want to run Lincoln to the fucking ground to action? You feel me? I feel your pain. I feel your fucking pain, bro. I need to be heard from you, okay? I will listen, I hear you, you hear me, and you're listening to me. It's not about me and you. I should be speaking to you. I should be speaking to this crowd. We're speaking to the world. We're trying to be seen. All right, we're trying to make a difference. We protesting to be seen, to be heard, to make a difference. We're not protesting so I can go talk to this man right here. Come on. It's a big difference. I don't want to be the one to freaking stand up here and take charge, man. It should be these ones, man. This is the youth. I'm tired of saying no, trying to take direction. Because y'all over here bitter and battering, trying to take over the youth, man. Give them guidance. Don't take off. Give them guidance. Guide them. If they make a wrong decision, you have to let them learn from their own wrong. You know this as a grown man. Come on. Nobody made a wrong decision. Okay.
One thing that's evident tonight is passionate viewpoints.
You feel me? It's bigger than just us. Stop everybody for each other. Stop. I'm done.
As a black people, as my half, who I am, we can have our own mind policy, our own businesses, support each other. There's a lot of exceptional black athletes, exceptional black artists. We need to black women, or we need to all come together as a people and have our own buying power, our own business, our own money. It's not a drag to anybody else, any other race. I love every race, every minority, every person. But they are not going to care until we do something that changes that. We need people that are in black in the top 3%. How many black billionaires are there? What do they do for the community? That's who really needs to hear that. Where's Oprah? Where are they at? Why are they supporting black people? Why are they buying white people's stuff? Why? You know? There's only one black person who people buy. That's Bird. He's the only person. Why don't we have more black voting lines? Why don't we want what they want? Why don't we want what we have? We need to open our own business. That's all I have to say. We got buying power.
He would have beat my ass. He would have beat my ass.
Privilege to be out here. I'm one of your old here. I've been fighting this fight for a long time.
This is Pastor John Harris.
I come here from St. Louis, Missouri. I live in Ferguson. I drove down the street and watched my community burn. I saw West Florissant in St. Louis. Anybody here from that part of town? You know what it's like to watch your community devastated. But I'm here tonight just to support, to be in solidarity. I've been here in Lincoln about 27 years. My kids grew up here. They went to Lincoln High. Okay. But at 58 years old, I now have grandchildren. I got 3 grandboys. And my hope and my prayer is that I pray to God that at some point in time, we will not need to do this. Whatever your ages might be, that they will not be dealing with this crap anymore. But am I optimistic? Am I hopeful? Well, I'm hopeful because you're here. Because let me say this. Every protest has to have a strategy. First, there's an outcry. What's the outcry? Is that a man was killed right before our eyes. Once again. And that outcry is followed by what? An outrage. What is the outrage? Bring our man. We're mad. We're upset. We're angry. Again. But hear me right. Every outrage must be directed toward an outcome. You feel me? So the question of the night is what must be our outcome? That's right. So the challenge is this. As you are using your energy, as you're expressing your anger, as you're doing whatever it is you're doing, understand that nothing will change until we get an outcome.
Pastor John Harris speaking to the crowd about unity and what needs to be done about the outcome, that the outcome should be peace.
Do not let them win. We want people prosecuted. We want the punishment to fix the crime. So here we are, with all the angst that's around us. We're mad, but there's a way to channel that anger, that outrage, in a way that gets an outcome. And you must know what you want. It's not enough to be out here in the abstract. And so, I'm going to sit down, because I'm an old head, standing in solidarity. I'm here with you. There are a lot of folks who will not come out here. I will stand with you. I will fight with you. I will be there with you. My outrage is focused on continued change. At 58, I've been doing this for 42 years. Since a gun was put to my head in St. Louis, just for going to the movie. You hear me? Going to the movie in the wrong neighborhood. There's a gun right here. I've been fighting this for a long time, but I'm fighting it again with you. And I'm saying to you, let's outlast the people of Vail, and we will win.
That is Pastor John Harris.
All I have to say for all of my white counterparts out there, I want you guys to make sure that you guys are standing between us, especially if we do pass the curfew. That's on y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna be out here. I was out here the last 2 nights. But you guys got to use their bodies. They're not gonna see you guys as a threat as much as they see us as a threat. The same people, they're saying fuck club. I'm sorry, my club, but you guys can say fuck club and still be protected by club. Okay? And also for the allies, you guys need to make sure that you let the black people speak. Yes! Yes! It's very valid. Black women are angry too. Our anger is valid. That's smart. You guys need to understand that we get angry, but it's valid. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm so happy for everybody that is here. I'm so happy to see every single color, every single
more passionate speakers as we approach the 9 p.m. curfew in Lincoln. We only have 2 cop cars at the south end of the city-county block outside of the Hall of Justice here in Lincoln. Kellan Heavican with you. Jack Mitchell is on another camera. There's probably several hundred here that have gathered. It's been peaceful so far.
They want you to break stuff. They want you to fight back. So the narrative will be controlled. The media controls everything. If the people at home think that you guys are nothing but looters, they will go and they will continue to sit in their places. Do not have a cycle. The biggest threat that we have against the governor right now is our phone. Take video. Take video of it. Take video of stuff that is going around. The reason George Floyd's arrest happened so fast was not because things like this didn't happen. It happened because somebody was not a bystander. They didn't sit at home. They took up their phone. A 17-year-old girl took up her phone and she recorded everything. And there was an outrage. And that's what I'm leaving with you guys today. Black Lives Matter.
Y'all know one thing, this is 8:30 right now. And curfew at 9. I have no man to stop y'all from whatever y'all do tonight. But this is what I'm gonna say. Hear me out. No matter what y'all do tonight, if y'all stand here on your knees with your hands up until 1 a.m., don't go do whatever reckless thing y'all do tonight. Just think. What is that? What is that? What's the outcome of that? What is the outcome? But listen, you won't. It's more than just here, though. You gotta think the way bigger picture. I understand a lot of y'all. That's gonna be important to a lot. But if you don't understand, then you reach the rest of it. All right. What's the bigger picture? And together as one, that's how we will win. All right, so let's finish. All right, I'm gonna be real quick, and then whatever happens after that happens. As I said, I know you disappointed that I used to listen. I know y'all mad, but listen. You stay up for 9? Man, I don't even want to speak up for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It don't matter what y'all do tonight, cause how much will you really be hurt tonight? You can take a bullet, you can die, you can sit here painfully on your knees. How hard will you really be hurt though? Cause guess what? It's one thing to be hurt, but it's another thing to be listened to. And they're not gonna listen to you. You down here on your knees with your hands up. Oh, what's the shit? Hands up, don't shoot. Guess what? You're gonna get shot. If we doing this all night, this we heard the mayor just came out. The mayor will not be out here after curfew with whatever y'all doing. She left. She's gone. Y'all gotta realize the bigger picture. These news people are watching us. That's why I don't want to be. I don't want to be on the. I want to see you. No, but listen, all right. It's deeper. Look, I already know. But listen, let me finish. Listen, just whatever y'all do, like I said later, whatever y'all do, let it be an outcome. Like Pastor said, let there be an outcome. Let it be a positive outcome. Y'all want to go break the building? Do it in a way where whatever you do is go to. I don't see how that's going to lead to justice and freedom and racism, but if you see it is, make sure it happens that way. If this building got destroyed to racism, however that happens, make sure that it is leading to that. Otherwise, don't do it. If whatever y'all out here, whatever action you take, please make sure it is leading to peace, freedom, and injustice. We want justice, right? For all the people who are dying. And if you take actions that aren't leading to that, then come on now.
More passionate conversations outside the city county building.
Emotion, anger. You are no better than the police that are killing us. You're acting out on anger. You want a better world, will be better. And I know that deep down inside, you gotta be that bigger, man. You gotta know what's right and wrong. You feel me? I want to be out here with y'all tonight, but I won't, because I know what's right. You know, and now I see y'all listening to me. I know y'all gonna comment on my statuses, text me, great speech tonight. I know the impact I will have on my city tonight. Yeah. You know, so I will keep on passion. I see you get some money. If I am wrong, educate me. If this ain't the way, please let me know so I will join you. Because there is the way. There is a way, it's not fair. But there is a way, and we will find this way. But until we come together, and we keep on in all these different directions, you feel me? This white people like the real estate agent, they're out there knocking the guard up in these. That's the biggest threat tonight. It is these white people that will be in their trucks shooting y'all. My name is we deal with the National Guard for That's just Lincoln. Omaha just had a protest tonight. That's Omaha. What about the nation? There's a bigger picture. And listen, I'm not none your enemy. So if you keep fighting me, we will never get beat the truth. We come away where we are together and fight the true enemy. We will never achieve peace, freedom, justice. So that's the thing I say. No God. I'm not speaking for the rest of the night.
More passionate protests as the 9 p.m. curfew approaches here in Lincoln. The young gentleman that just spoke is urging people to obey the curfew.
Leave at 9 o'clock, y'all. We gotta leave at 9. Then come up here in the morning. Be here all day. Then leave again at 9 and come back and
Protests are difficult, right? Because a lot is happening and you're frustrated and everyone's angry and no one's protests are difficult, okay? But they're meant to be difficult, okay? They're meant to be talking and discussing, okay? Protests are meant to be easy. They're not meant to be peaceful, okay? Protests have never said when you abide by laws that are incorrect. It's to be able to harm the people who are out later. We keep talking about peace, right? Like we're not the ones that are peaceful. Like we keep talking about being the bigger person. Like that's on us.
Some more passionate speakers here outside of the city county building. Kellan Heavican, Jack Mitchell joining you. Mark Vail, Caleb Henry. We're back in our KLIN Studios running our program. It's been an entirely peaceful demonstration so far, but the 9 p.m. curfew approaches. Everybody that has spoken in front of this group has been encouraged to leave at 9. Not very many people have left. There's probably a few hundred people here at the moment. And this is the 4th day here in the capital city that there have been protests over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Peaceful protests yesterday. The 8 p.m. curfew hit. And after 40 minutes, the crowd failed to disperse from law enforcement orders. tear gas was deployed. Excuse me. There were 53 arrests made by LPD, 44 by the sheriff's office. For failing to disperse in other crimes, LPD is investigating 4 larcenies from last night. Law enforcement presence light. Sheriff's vehicle is at the south end of the block. LPD cruiser still there. You can see some officers inside the windows and doors of the Hall of Justice. We're outside of the City County building here in Lincoln. Kellan Heavican with you on 1400 KLIN. The mayor spoke earlier momentarily. She's left. Several hundred protesters here. It's been peaceful. The 9 p.m. curfew is approaching. Only, let's see, 2 police vehicles, law enforcement vehicles at the south end. There's nothing at the north end. There's nobody outside right here, as there were the previous night.
I just have a question before I start talking to you guys. I just want to know if everybody feels comfortable right now. Because we're all out here standing out in beautiful weather. We got this breeze blowing around. We feel really good sitting here, right? It feels awesome. I mean, why not fire up jazz?
So we've got about 10 minutes before the curfew is in effect here in Lincoln. Right now, from what I've seen, law enforcement has not shown up. There's a couple of cruisers to the south, a couple of officers inside the Hall of Justice that you can see through the window. But as you can see, as I turn and apologize if that was a quick pan, there's no officers dressed in riot gear as there was last night. The mayor was here momentarily. She did speak to the crowd. She has since left. Jack Mitchell is also here with us. Kaleb, Henry, Mark Vail are back in the studio. We did have I would assume is a state patrol officer, or excuse me, the state patrol helicopter rather, in the air when we got here about a little over an hour ago, but I haven't seen it. There is a small plane to the south, but I have no clue if that has anything to do with what we've seen, but it's probably a couple hundred people here.
When Martin Luther King didn't leave when the owners told him that he had to move. So why should I fucking leave when they tell me to? It's about resistance. It's called peaceful resistance. They're gonna gas you. They're gonna shoot you with rubber bullets. You can put your hands up and say don't shoot and you know you can do it. But that's what makes it resistance. We make the city waste every canister of tear gas they have, and I bet you they'll hear us then. We've always known that, but it's scary. I believe it. Trust me, I'm scared too. When I went to the Capitol yesterday at 4:30, it felt good to be there. We were out in the sun. It was wonderful. Everyone was happy, right? We all felt good. But what did we accomplish? Anytime the oppressor tells you that the way you're protesting is correct, then you're not protesting.
So now under 10 minutes before the curfew. Now yesterday, it was, looks like they're about ready to finish up. We'll see what happens. Yesterday it took them about 40 minutes for law enforcement after several orders to disperse before they took action. As for what will happen tonight, it's unknown. Yesterday it was peaceful until law enforcement went to disperse the crowd. So the anticipation builds to see what this group of individuals will do. Some the majority of our speakers have encouraged everybody to obey the curfew.
We are angry. We are it has to stop. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of another hashtag. I'm tired of every single day for dying. We gotta stop this. We gotta stop this. So we don't let them hear us today, tomorrow, 5 years, tomorrow, next week. We are going to let them hear us until we stop. I have a lot of things that I want to do. I have things that I want to see, and I want to do. So please don't give up. Please stick with me. Please stick with the people of Michigan because this isn't over. This is just the beginning. We are going to do the same. So thank you so much for coming today.
Pastor John Harris speaking here.
You're okay with it. Just want to pray tonight that for our protection, for our resolve, for the person, and for the ultimate change. Can we do that tonight? Dear God, I just thank you tonight for the privilege we have of gathering. Thank you for these young people. Thank you for every person who's come. Thank you for every person who's
Pastor John Harris here praying for the group of protesters.
We pray tonight the covering of your protection for those who will remain here tonight. We thank you for the opportunity to address and redress the challenges of this nation that have been long unchanged, long unresolved. There are two viruses in America. There is COVID-19 and there's racism. Who is the vaccine for racism? That people might be abused. We are not there yet, but our resolve is strong. We have courage. We have fortitude. And tonight we have faith that you will cover us and you will protect us from the enemy. Do that, oh God, and we'll give you the glory. We'll give you the honor. And we'll give you the praise. In the name of Christ, my Lord. And everybody who agrees with that prayer, say it with me. Amen.
Okay, we're at the 5-minute warning before 9 p.m. Protesters are starting to get up and move. We will see encouragement to pick up your trash.
No matter if you stay or go, keep the peace. That is the most important thing. Do not perpetuate the violence. Show them who the real violent people are. And that is them. When they start shooting bullets and tear gas at us because we won't disperse to some bullshit law. No matter what happens, do not give in. That's what they want. Stay peaceful.
Thank you.
So here we are, and this is what it looks like shortly before 9 o'clock. Same police presence as we've described before. So we'll see here what transpires.
This shit is behind us right now. FYI. But it's still a pretty big one. I would say he anticipated, I would say by about 40%, maybe. And still no police presence whatsoever at this point. You know, it's a mix. There's a change going on right now. You can see behind me. I'm actually switch around here. So you guys can have what's going on instead of. Silver, sorry. So, nobody up there. Last time I was here, there were about 40 riders up there. Lights on there. More.
Not the police, goddammit.
He's here to protect us, y'all.
Not the police, I promise.
Ow! What the hell?
There'll be a raindrop. Yeah, no.
Listen, y'all, listen. I just want to tell everybody this is a small stepping stone. I feel like everybody is here. Some people think that we're not going anywhere. This is a small stepping stone, okay? We have a journey to go. This is just the beginning. We have children, grandkids that are coming, our children's children. This is just the beginning. If you feel like you're out here not doing enough, you're doing everything you possibly can. Don't stop fighting. Don't fucking go home. Period. Do not stop fighting.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
We have the news.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
No faces! No faces! Don't take pictures of faces! Don't take pictures of faces! Check the identities. We don't even want this. Go shit! Go shit! Go shit! I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Some shots of that, but nobody actually there. Perhaps for the event tonight, I'm not sure. Perhaps an arrangement earlier. There's been some talk about an arrangement not this rally, but now other than that, not a whole lot going on. Looking down to the leaving, not big crowds going hopefully this continues. Hopefully they're able to continue. I don't know. You almost wonder a little bit if there's some sort of I don't know if it's the protesters or not. There's no appearance by them. Perhaps at least some of the high level of intensity won't happen. Maybe that's not what the goal is here. But we'll see. My mic is good. Okay. Well, shoot. You know what? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, everyone stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Someone has passed out. Someone has passed out. Are you okay? She's a real one. She's a real one. She's back in this. Hands up. 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 No justice. No justice. No justice. Justice. No justice. No justice. No justice.
Yes, right away. If this phone, if the sound isn't any better, tell me. I'll cut off and figure something else out. But text me right away. I'm getting all your messages from all your texts that you can't hear me. Mark? No?
Not yet, Jack. You're still pretty scratchy.
Sorry, guys. Obviously, I'm not a part of the TV crew up here. Well, I don't think anybody can hear me, but I don't know for sure. Now I have my earpiece in, so I might be able to hear you. Say something. You can hear me. Okay, that's all I needed. All right, I'm going to say everything I said before. Thank you. So I've just stepped back a little bit here at we're on, what are we on here? I used to work in that building, so I should really know the address, but I'm terrible with downtown streets. What is this, 11th, I believe? Right there. Right now, and give you a sense of kind of what was going on here. I was trying to mention before, there were guys in yellow shirts here, like a private security company, stopping all the cars. I don't know where. There they are over there now, talking to another couple of cars, and so there's nobody here stopping cars at this point anymore. Still a big crowd there, as you can see from Kellan's pictures. The crowd initially dissipated by about 30 or 40%, I would say, and Thank you. I've gotten all the messages that the audio sounds better. I know what the problem is. Um, but nonetheless, what I was trying to say earlier is just that there's still zero police presence, and I'm going to continue to walk up here as we get closer. In fact, I'll flip the camera. You don't need to see my ugly face. I think I said that before. So I'll flip it as I walk toward. Has been a little bit at the end of the road down traffic, a couple of cars. And then there's not even police cars blocking off traffic this way, which of course it's a one-way street, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. You can see some people in the city county building, or I guess it'd be the Hall of Justice. I don't know if you'll be able to see on my picture. But Kellan be able to focus. There's two people right above those main doors. And I know you can't see them very well unless you really enlarge your screen, that are kind of peering down. That looks like 3 now. Not uniformed police officers. I didn't recognize them when I was closer. And Kellan might be able to get a little bit of a shot of them too. That's really it. There were requests during the rally for the mayor to cancel the curfew. And as far as I know, she resisted that. She didn't do that. She hung around here for about. She spoke. Then an hour almost. Let's see. Move closer to my router. When she left.
Alrighty, sir. Introduce yourself for us.
Stood around
My name's Chad.
and took a
What
phone
brings
call.
you out here tonight?
Inequality, social injustice, racism, discrimination, you name it. Police brutality, racial profiling, all the above.
Before the chant started, you gave a pretty passionate speech up there. What's the passion for?
Because as an older black man in this community, I am tired of it. I am worn out. I don't know what else to say. I have been discriminated against growing up in Lincoln, Nebraska by both blacks for not acting or talking or being like them, and I have been discriminated against by white people because I don't look like them. So I don't know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? All I know is what I am, and that's a mixed American, okay? Mixed black and white. And I'm just like anybody else in this world. I'm human, I have feelings, and I just want to be treated fairly and the same as anybody else does.
The Chancellor, we're still here. It's well past 9 o'clock when the curfew's been going into effect. In most police presence, we see at times two people on the roof and 2 cruisers at the south end. Just your thoughts about how this has been handled so far.
Well, I mean, the violence has to stop. There's no excuse for it, okay? Whether or not it's coming from the police or coming from the protests, okay? It has to stop. Bottom line, it's not going to accomplish anything, okay? My thoughts on the curfew, I think it's an infringement upon our human rights, okay? And I think it's an infringement upon our constitutional rights. They basically declare it a state of martial law or state of emergency, whatever they want to say, because of a few bad apples that decided that they were going to use this as an opportunity to loot, vandalize, and destroy things because they wanted to have a good time. they've lost sight of what the cause is, in my opinion, if that's what they're doing, okay? It doesn't have to be violence. It needs to be peaceful, because at the end of the day, the message is, as far as I'm concerned, the true perpetuators of the violence is the law enforcement and the people who are continuing, the oppressors who will continue to try to hold people down based upon color, based upon sexual orientation, you name it. Those are the true oppressors, and those are the ones. So in my opinion, what we need to do is we need to, no matter what happens, they can shoot us with rubber bullets, they can hit us with tear gas, but we cannot be violent. We have to remain peaceful, because we have to prove to them and to the rest of the world who the real perpetuators of the violence are.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Thank you, everybody, for being out here. The support is tremendous. I'm super impressed by Lincoln, Nebraska, just because I have grown up in this community all my life, and I haven't always felt this type of support before, and it really warms my heart to feel it now. However, at the same time, I'm terrified as the outcome that is not going to be what we want it to be at the end of the day. And that's what really scares me and, quite frankly, pisses me off.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kellan, for that interview. I have now taken a little bit of a different vantage point here. Good to hear from one of the folks down there. As you can see, I'm giving you a little bit of a side view of the crowd here down the street. It's dissipated some. I mean, you can see the back of it is now about halfway down the street. There's still quite a few people at the garage, or excuse me, at the gas station back there. But let me show you a little bit up front. You've got media, all media up here in our bright jackets. I've got my own bright jacket. On both sides, a lot of media here. I have seen no law officers close. There were some down there for a while, and there are the cars blocking off down there as well. And now what I was trying to say, and I know Kellan went to that interview, so we got somebody getting on the mic now here. Let's see if we can. Kellan, if you can, I don't know if you're closer here. Let's see if I can get in here what's happening. Guys, I'm going to talk to you. I don't know how well you can hear the speaker there. I'm trying to get him in my ear, and I don't know if you can make it out. I can't either back here. So I'm just going to continue on a couple of things, and we'll monitor what's going on up there. What I was beginning to say was there was a very clear sentiment during the rally from the crowd, things that were shouted out, things that were said to the mayor, basically saying, why would you ever need a police presence here tonight? And there was a very clear sentiment saying, hey, we don't want to see a police presence here tonight. And so far, you absolutely haven't. You haven't. I have seen up there. I don't think you can see them right now. There were a couple of people stationed up there. The state patrol helicopter was out here, guys, when we got here a couple of hours ago, flying really low. I haven't, and maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but I haven't seen it since at all. There's been nothing. So you can still see people kind of dissipating a little bit as the crowd gets smaller little by little here. And it's just so different from when I was here Saturday night. Now, that was at 11:30. What time are we at now? Okay, we're still 2 hours earlier. But, man, I think ideally what happens here is the police don't feel like they have to make a presence. There's no reason for them tonight. And this will continue. And I think it will. Certainly some people will stay, some people will leave. Now they're technically in violation of the curfew at this point. And if there's not going to be an enforcement of the curfew, because I don't know, I think it was about this point, I think it was earlier, it was so light out last night when there was the police presence out there the entire time, and they started to push people back. And that's when you had people getting arrested. And there's been none of that here. And I think we're significantly later at night than we were at that point last night when that was happening. I remember watching William do his report when all that was happening. It was still very much light outside, so that's kind of a weird marker to use to remember this whole thing. But it's very clear. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm Jack Mitchell. Kellan Heavican from KLIN, and Mark Vail and Kaleb Henry are back in the studio. Mark, Kaleb, I don't know if you want to jump on. Wow, we got a bunch of people leaving. Oh, everyone's leaving here. Or turning over here. Hold on. Oh, something just got thrown and broken. Something just happened. Hold on. I don't know what that was. Something got thrown and broken, and people are moving quickly. Everybody is moving. What happened back there?
Somebody threw something.
Somebody threw something?
I don't know how far it made it up
But
there.
people
I
were
heard
moving
glass.
back before they threw it.
Oh, yeah, they did. And then
What happened?
as people were moving back, someone threw something up there. I heard glass shatter.
I think they're beginning a march elsewhere. Yeah, they're going to march. So they're going to march through the city. That's pretty clear. That's what's happening here. Can you see? I can't tell. Something was thrown up there. It was glass and it broke. I couldn't tell if it was a window breaking or if it was glass breaking up there. Nonetheless, it doesn't seem to be real significant damage. There's a car right here in the intersection that's been here the entirety of the time. And I'm going to see if I can find Kellan here. I probably should put my mask back on. Social distancing. There's a car revving up here. And look at this. We have almost emptied out at this point. All of a sudden. And as of this point, people leaving at this point, and we got people turning here. Jeez, we got an open street here. And not police presence at all. One item was thrown. And I can't even tell what happened or where. One other plastic water bottle out there. Otherwise, it's totally clean. And we got some people picking up trash. All right, let's head on. Just Larrabee. I don't know where Kellan went. Maybe Kellan, if he wants to turn on his video here. I don't know if he can hear us.
Thanks for listening and watching on KLIN, whether it's, I believe we're on Twitter and we are also on Facebook. Kellan Heavican here. A peaceful protest past the 9 p.m. curfew. We're walking down Lincoln Mall where both nights we've seen protests turn violent. We're walking towards the Capitol, several hundred people. There was one thing thrown at the Hall of Justice, but there was some confusion momentarily. But now we head towards Lincoln Mall. or we're on Lincoln Mall towards the state capitol. There was
How's it going?
no law enforcement
Guys cleaning up trash.
scene.
Nice shot.
Presence. Excuse me.
They have more trash cans out here,
This is what the city, the streets right now,
Disney puts trash can every
downtown
20 feet. That's
Lincoln,
the average
Nebraska, well
distance
past
that somebody
the
will walk
curfew.
to a trash can.
Good to know. Thanks,
They
guys.
are
Random
our
useless
protesters.
knowledge. Next time you're on Who's a Millionaire?
Hey guys,
So-
just really quick, gonna jump in here. I'm down at the Walmart at 27th and Pine Lake. We heard some rumors about possibly something happening down here. And as of right now, not the case.
Good.
The parking lot, although there is nothing going on down here, I do have to add, very, very eerie with there being nobody here, being this quiet even on a Monday night. So I'm going to jump back in the vehicle, head back to the station unless there's somewhere else that we find to go. You guys continue to stay safe, and we'll continue checking in throughout the night.
Thank you, Kellan. Or Kaleb. Sorry, I still mix you guys up even when I'm on location. Hey, Mark, if you want to pop in here a minute now and maybe just update us on some of the things that you're hearing from, beyond where we're at right now. I'm going to try and cross the street here while I'm talking to you. This probably isn't safe.
I think the biggest thing that we can tell you is that there was quite a bit of activity in Omaha. They had an 8 p.m. curfew, and there were several arrests. There were large groups running in the downtown area and several arrests there. We haven't gotten any updates here in the last probably 20 minutes. One reporter, a freelance reporter for NET, was evidently lacking some credentials and was arrested as well. But that's about all we have out of Omaha. Everything around Lincoln seems to be right there where you guys are, downtown. And the rest of the city, from what we can tell, traffic cams and watching social media, fairly quiet.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And I mean, this appears to be a march. I think some of the folks were kind of dissipating and leaving. You've got some people walking, a big group of people walking. But I'm going to tell you what, and Kellan, I don't know if you can hear me. He probably can't. This feels like a different crowd than Saturday night. And I know that's kind of a subjective thing at this point. This feels like a crowd that has a lot more people above the age of 30 in it. It feels a lot less like a party. That did sometimes. Now, I don't want to minimize. There was certainly that. I hope that's not taken the wrong way, but there was times. There's Kellan's audio.
Hi, Jack. Did you hear me very well?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. I'm at, I would say I'm fairly towards the front. And we are at 13th Street and Lincoln Mall. We're stopped at the intersection. And we continue to advance. It's like we've got one vehicle and a couple waiting. Here as we cross the intersection of South 13th and Lincoln Mall. I'm going to go ahead and unplug my earbuds so everybody can hear what's being said. So there you have it. We are marching towards the state capitol building, less than a block away. Thank you for watching with us here this evening. Fourth straight night of protests in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hey, Kellan, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Jack.
Okay, so we haven't talked all night, oddly enough. I'm just curious. So something was thrown up there, but it was kind of while everyone was leaving, and it seemed like it was a planned time to leave here to head toward the Capitol at 9:30.
Jack, I saw from my angle at that time, I believe it was a Modelo bottle. Can't confirm that. It was a glass bottle was thrown at the window. Only one person did it, which kind of caused.
Hey, was it Modelo dark or regular lager?
I can't confirm, Jack, at this point. I don't know. I don't know my Modelo beer very well.
Okay.
So sorry, guys, if I will walk behind the bus stop. And here we are. There's the west side of the Capitol. We're turning here. I do not see a police presence of any sort. We're now turning south. This is well past the 9 p.m. curfew. It's been peaceful so far. Lots of passionate conversations at the beginning of this when Jack and I first arrived, talking about racial injustice. What should be the goal? As two pastors spoke, young people spoke, old people spoke. Sorry, we don't have great lighting right now for you, but I am probably, Jack, halfway. I'm probably in the middle, and I look back and there's people still turning the previous block, and we're almost have our front of the line at K Street.
Yeah. So Kellan, I'm at the back of the line here. I got a few people behind me, but I'm kind of at the back of the line here. The thing I noticed, and I'm curious what you think about this, is one of the clear requests, it seemed like, from the people who spoke, the voices in the crowd, was not to see the tear gas, not to see the rubber bullets. And there's no need for it if they're peaceful. They also wanted to see the curfew extended. It's been notable, again, the lack of police presence so far tonight. It seems like it's almost by design. And so far, that formula has not netted any kind of violence or property destruction save one bottle at this point.
That's fair so far.
So I'm turning the corner here too.
I'm at the north steps of the state capitol building. Sorry about the camera view there. This is the front of our protesters. Here, there's the stoplight. There's the fountain. Sorry, trying to get ahead of this so we can get to the of what this looks like. This is the front of the line.
Kellan, can I tell another story real quick here? If people can hear me. Maybe people saw on Twitter. I took a picture.
Hold up, Jack. Hold up. There's your police presence. It's hard to see. We've got full riot gear at 2/3 of the way or halfway up the top of the Capitol steps on the north side. Looks like Nebraska National Guard members, some State Patrol or police, but this is where our protesters are. There is water here. Here we go. I'm going to unplug my mic and let everybody take this in here. Okay, I'm going to plug my earbuds back in. This is a group of protesters that are continuing to file down K Street, north side of the Capitol building. There are law enforcement officers dressed in riot gear, as you can see right in front of me on the north side. Here's the chain, and people continue to pile in here on June 1st. You could just see the sheer amount of people that showed up and have stayed with this protest. This is what this looks like, the front end. There's Centennial Mall looking north. There's K Street looking west, looking into the Capitol building. Law enforcement dressed in riot gear. As you can hear now, we can't control the language, obviously, so this is a severe language warning here outside of the Capitol building. So looks like they're beginning to pass water out. Apologize if the language is offensive to you. Looks like they have quieted that down for the most part. Alrighty, guys, you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Ben.
All right, Ben, let's turn around and see if we can get some better lighting. That's much better. There we go. What's your name?
Ashley.
Why are you guys out here tonight?
To change injustice, to change the system.
Police are wrong for what they do.
To push for police reform.
So it looks like this is what the law enforcement needed. This is where the protest was going to end. So far, what do you think?
Well, I'm just hoping that the interaction remains peaceful between law enforcement and the protesters. And as long as they're able to keep it peaceful, I don't think we're going to have any problems tonight. With law enforcement decides to escalate the situation, I feel like people are going to react if they feel like they need to.
And you think that way even if you don't obey the curfew?
Huh?
Do you believe that even if you don't
Yes,
obey the curfew?
I feel like under no circumstances should our right for peaceful protest and assembly be violated by any local order.
Have you been here the previous nights too?
Yes, sir. Check me on 1011 and on ABC 8 and on what was that, KLIN? Yes, sir.
Do you think you've accomplished anything over the last
sir.
4 days? What have you accomplished?
You see how police are standing back today? You see them yesterday? Change.
What's the end goal?
Peace.
Peace? Anything else you want to tell us?
Encourage the police to mix with us, unite with us, march with us. There'll be no violence.
Thank you.
Step back. Step back. That's as far as y'all going. As far as y'all going. As far as y'all going.
So if you can see there, guys, that is a very young organizer who's got a Mexican flag wrapped around his back, and very strongly, after people stood up, very strongly told them to get back. And there are a set of very young, I mean, I would say high school age, kind of leaders of this entire thing.
We will not have a curfew tomorrow. We will not get shot. Tear gas, smoking, none of that shit. We're not doing what they want. They want to shoot us. They want to shoot us. Why? Because they're fighting for one black race. So we're not giving them what the fuck they want. We're not going to get shot.
Not giving them what the belief they want, which is a fight. This guy's very, very strong all night. There have been several young people who have been saying that. She's telling him not to smoke weed. We got,
smoking weed out here, this is not the fucking time.
yeah, looks like we got people coming up to the steps now.
Alright, everybody.
I'm gonna move a little bit. I'm gonna move a little.
You want to get them with the rock? You do not antagonize them. And they won't antagonize us. No justice! No justice!
This is pretty interesting here, guys.
No justice! No peace! 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 No peace!
Jack, if you could mute your audio right about now, that would be great. Thanks, Jack. So we've got what I'm seeing up here at the Capitol steps as I turn the camera and try to talk into it. We've got a state patrol, it looks like, dressed not in riot gear, talking to the officers who are dressed in riot gear. We saw the case of water thrown up and then, hold up. So anyway, somebody had thrown a case of water over the chains, and they did not advance. The police on the state capitol steps, sorry for the camera view, have not advanced. The protesters are at the bottom of the capitol steps. The entire block right here is now filled in. It looks like we've got police presence on the west side of the K Street.
Show us you're equal. Show us for change. Kneel with us. I know you know that was injustice. Trooper, kneel with us. Kneel, please. Are you an American? I need to kneel with us. I need to make a statement. We're making a statement. Make it with us. Kneel with us. Kneel with us. You don't know that. How about you help us? Okay. Yell. Keep yelling. Keep going. Keep going. I don't have a voice either. I've been yelling for the last 72 hours. That's a couple of days, man. 3 days? 3 days. 72 hours. Kneel with us. Kneel with us. Kneel with us. I'm sorry.
wanted today. No, not today.
Looks like we got a state trooper again.
There's a conversation between the state trooper.
Interaction tonight between our protesters and law enforcement.
I don't know what's happening here, but conversation with one of the leaders, and it looks like a state trooper. Now he's walked away. I don't know. He must have a mask in his hand.
Everyone, bring out your phones right now and record this. Record this video down here at school. Record this uniform down here at school. That's what we're doing. Stop by right. Stop by resist. By resist. This is what Martin Luther King wanted. Do what he wants. Take the video.
Here we go.
Record this. Exactly. Exactly. He built this thing. Exactly. He built this thing. Exactly. Exactly. He built this thing.
Curfews are not constitutional.
And that is exactly what they did.
He is talking to one of the people who was really vocal last night about the use of force. If I recall, Kellan, I don't know, Kellan probably can't hear me, but from the previous
We're
rally,
outside the state capitol right now, protesting on the state patrol station. It's been peaceful so far. You know what they're saying. They're using city police on the steps of the Capitol building. I haven't been able to hear what the interaction is like. I can't hear it. I've been with this for 5 minutes. There's rounds of applause behind us.
Kellan, can you hear me, Kellan? Kellan, can you hear me? I don't think you can. If I recall correctly, the protester talking to the state patrolman was one, and there comes up one of the younger female leaders, and looking to have a friendly conversation, was one of the more vocal protesters during the early part of the evening about the force that was used. And, I wonder if the conversation, this is speculation, is about the presence that's up here. You can't see it very well because it's not lit, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to guess 40 to 50 officers up there.
Mute your mic real quick. Thank you, Jack. Just thought I'd recap what we got here. We got a protest from one of the Nebraska State Patrolmen having a conversation, probably gone on 3 or 4 minutes now. In front of the Capitol building, we've got military police. Sorry for the camera shot there with my finger in it. Standing. They have not moved. The protesters are now, as you can see, for the most part, at the bottom of the steps. Here we go. Here's the end of the conversation. As for what happens next, we'll have to wait and see. I haven't been able to hear the conversation at all between these two. We know it's passionate on both sides. It does also look like there may be extra personnel inside the Capitol building on those two doors that face the north as well. It's the most law enforcement present we've seen tonight. That was a water bottle. Here we go.
Get me on. Hey, get me on. Let me get me on. Okay, let me tell you what just happened. This is so bizarre. A guy started chanting in the middle of kind of a solemn moment. Who knows Scott Frost? I kid you not. He kept chanting, who knows Scott Frost? And the first time people just kind of chuckled. Then he kept doing it. And I don't know what's going on back there, but he got a crowd angry at him. And they're back there now. And I can't get back there to see what's happening. But there's a lot of people who are no longer here who are back there. It was entirely bizarre. And I couldn't quite get a good spot on exactly who was doing it, other than I saw a crowd coming toward him. There, and the leaders are chastising. There is a woman there, a young woman, absolutely chastising people for the potential of a disturbance, and it has been a theme all night. I'll tell you what, guys. Again, I show you this gal standing up here. She's done the same thing. The guy, now this guy with the Mexico flag wrapped him is above, beyond the chain. There's the man who had been talking to police. He sent the state patrol. Let's see what's happening up here. Let's see if I can see here. Turn Kellan on so he can get. Kellan, do you have a better view of this? The state patrol is going up here and talking. The military just moved down. I really think what's happening. I did
see more military presence come out there for a moment, and now some are actually going back in the building. It looks like our state patrol officer is talking with one of the National Guard personnel.
Kellan, they took a step down though. Did you see that? They moved down, and I don't know what's going on back there. After that little skirmish, the who knows Scott Frost chant, which was just bizarre. And so you have one of the protesters back here, one of the leaders, and there's the leader once again.
Jack, I think we may have something happening here shortly with the law enforcement. Conversation between the state patrolman and one of our National Guard members.
This is incredible, you guys. And you got these young one of the leaders going over the ropes again, permissibly, it looks like. This leader, someone just yelled out something, I don't know what it was, and she is just shutting him down. She wants to know who it was. And I don't have a great angle here because I got my friends from the TV media in front of me. Fantastic people they are. That's all right. Okay, so people are sitting down again here. So this conversation continues here, and Kellan and I maybe shouldn't both be focused on it. I would love to. I want to get to one of these leaders, and they're hugging. Oh, that was the two. He has got his arm. The trooper has his arm right now, Kellan, on the leader. He's got his arm on his back, and I wonder if there's some kind of plan of symbolism planned here.
No, it's Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer, can you please be quiet? Thank you. Thank you. Right here, Jennifer.
They're asking for a moment of silence.
Put your hands up!
They are killing, okay? The people that they are not getting jobs, not just y'all killing, y'all ain't getting jobs. You have great hires for you to get them. You think they say it's black people all within part of the system, okay? That is how we talk about this.
Yes, sir!
About why we are still disproportionate in these streets of COVID, huh? It's because of our things are working. Why are y'all working? Because y'all made us fucking poor. Let's go! You've had enough. You've had enough. They have no reason to fear us. Period. But we will not do this. We will not tolerate it. If this movement being hijacked by anybody, this is my movement. A clear black woman movement. At all. I am here to compensate my trans brothers. I am here for you. That is what I'm here for. Not in my city. Y'all will not be snatching up no black women tonight. Y'all don't have to kill me. I will die behind this. That's the difference between me and y'all. And anybody in here. I will die behind this. Say it again. This is my mama. Say it again. Homeboy in the middle, I'm letting y'all know that. Antifa, I'm letting y'all know that. Republicans, I'm letting y'all know that. This is my city. Say it. At the end of the day, LPS, we gonna hold you accountable too. This ain't just about get this in these streets. Them kids need to be educated the right way. Okay? Music programs need funding. Art programs need funding. Black businesses need funding. We need black teachers. Period.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone is out of here. People
some
y'all have tried to kill us. All of these We need that on medical supplies. We need that on
So our state trooper has finished the conversation with the three protesters. It looks like from the Nebraska National Guard as to what they talked about we couldn't hear. There's a passionate speech going on right now.
I agree.
Some protesters now are leaving. Some are staying. All right, so the conversation's been over with the Nebraska State Patrol and the Nebraska National Guard. Let's see what we have here.
Right here. If they don't want to stay, they don't have to be. They're not here for the right reason.
This is what I'm talking about. These people are trying to hijack our
So it looks like let's see here. We've got action here. Officers are heading back inside the Capitol. Wow, okay. Look at this. Police officers.
Wow. Look at this. Look at this. They're all inside the building. They are almost all inside of the building now at this point. They've gone in. They made some kind of an arrangement here with the state patrol officer that communicated to the National Guard. Let's see if we can hear any of this.
Hey guys, we are here at the Capitol building. Big moment just happened. We saw that media, please drop down.
Let the man speak.
This.
Hey. I need y'all to listen, okay? Because what we're doing right now is making history. So I need y'all to listen. Y'all hear me? Okay.
Trooper, sorry, a few days ago, and he has really been the peacekeeper of
Please.
everything.
Stop
And
talking
definitely
right
what he's been
now.
doing tonight. Let's go and hear from him.
Good evening.
Be quiet, you guys.
I'm Major Mike Yonke with the Nebraska State Patrol. The first thing that I want to say is I appreciate your efforts tonight. I appreciate the peaceful protest. All that I want to do is keep you and Dario and everyone safe. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what Dario and I and some other people have been talking about. As you can see, the team that was behind me is inside. And out of a show of respect, Dario has asked me, on behalf of law enforcement, to kneel with him for 9 minutes in honor of James Floyd. Because I believe in what you are doing peacefully, I am going to kneel for 9 minutes.
Everybody take a knee tonight.
With representatives of your group. And so we'll do that. And I would ask that we do it together. Thank you. And that we do it peacefully, respectfully, out of his memory. And if we can all do this thing together, we're doing something positive. Yes. Okay?
You guys, please. This is a moment of history. Stop complaining.
No, we're gonna go up there.
Alright, so we're gonna, everybody take a knee. They're gonna go back there for his safety. Y'all know what I mean.
To be clear, they are kneeling in honor of George Floyd. They are also kneeling for James
Skurlock. It's okay, Mama. You got it. You got it.
It's okay. You're strong.
We love you.
You are strong. You are.
So the Nebraska State Patrol Trooper, along with 2 protesters, have agreed to kneel for 9 minutes. A historic moment on the doorsteps of the Nebraska Capitol building on June 1st.
Long time sitting here in the fight. Now you're supposed to be yelling at you for 9 minutes, but they can't breathe. 9 minutes, y'all. On this man's neck. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear the sound? It's a long time. It's a long ass time. And it is longer than we were waiting for. There will not be another 9 minutes that will happen.
Hands up for the last 45 seconds. Hey.
Y'all watching this live, y'all better put y'all hands up with it. And that's on God. Y'all better bring y'all dead and y'all good. Bring y'all hands up. Y'all gonna put your hands up too? Right. Y'all news reporters, y'all gonna put your hands up with it? It's a no? No. I don't gotta wait.
Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Laugh with each other, smile, because today is a small stepping stone into a big change. Smile, everyone. Today is a small stepping stone to something big. Remember that. Remember that. Back to your toes. Back to your hands.
What was that conversation? What the man was telling me is he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that his team acts the most ethical way possible. And if they do not, consequences will be had. That's what he told me. He said he feels the same way we do. And he's sorry.
Your name is?
My name is Dupree Prentice.
Can you spell that for me?
D-U-P-R-E-E. Last name is P-R-E-N-T-I-C-E.
Where are you from?
I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Me too. Me too. Thank you. Get anything like this?
Hey, I was hoping so. I didn't think so. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. I'm so proud of my big brother, man.
Big brother, man. I look up to him. I did it. Y'all help me push everybody back.
Everybody back up, please. Everybody back up.
Listen up. If you're missing iPhone 7 Plus, it's up here. Never mind. Everybody, tonight, today, this whole day I've been a beautiful day. From the start of 4 o'clock when we all met at the Capitol. To right now, we got our officers to kneel with us. And the remembrance of our lost ones, of our lost brothers and sisters.
Guys, let him talk.
What's his name? And what's the other's name? What's their name? Say all their names.
Our children are going to be here soon. Our children are going to be here soon. We just want justice, literally. You see this? We're here peacefully. You see how they all went inside and we got them to take a knee? That's all we want. We just want justice.
For one thing, you're not black guys. I do not know many of you guys. But today, you are fighting with me. I got you like this family, as loved ones. I will fight for every single one of y'all. I love you all. We've been doing this shit for like 4 days straight. My voice is raspy. Y'all can't hear shit. My voice is straight gone. But there's people who want wants to donate mics like this so everyone can hear me. And I'm we're going into this mic, all the medics, all the water, and all the snacks that are coming our way. Thank all of you. You guys all played a big role. From these last 4 days, you guys all played a big role. I'm really happy about that. Everyone, hold your signs up high for the last time.
Hold it high.
It's not the last time.
Black Lives what? 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 I'm also thankful for the one officer that he was with us. Even though it was one officer, that's still a small stepping stone.
Listen.
All right, so during this whole riot, I have not gotten up and spoke, or excuse me, not right. I've been talking all day. I haven't said anything during these peaceful protests.
You gotta hold it close to your mouth.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah! So I've been out here documenting everything for the whole world to see. Yeah! I lost my stepbrother to police brutality in 2005.
Oh.
He was dazed until he had a heart attack, and he got no justice. So thank you guys for being out here and standing with us.
Y'all really simple today, to be honest. Y'all step the fuck out. Y'all get that. Y'all step. Y'all really love this shit. Y'all really care about us for real. Thank you so much. Thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Because I thought we were going to be out here all by ourselves. Thank you. Thank you. And for the people that are here just to break into shit and break buildings down, y'all can go the fuck home because y'all really not here for good reason. They gonna blame us for what y'all did. All y'all little white kids out here are breaking into buildings, they gonna blame us for it. And it's y'all that's doing it. It's not us. Y'all broke into those buildings.
It's us that's dying.
It's us that y'all don't care about none of that shit, bro. Just go home and do here to fuck shit up, please. Because we here peacefully. And that's it. And that's all period. Thank y'all for real. I really do appreciate it. We are Lincoln!
So Muslims here, Asians here, white people here, black people here, sort of me as African, red, white, blue, gay, bisexual, lesbian, LGBTQ, y'all are here for one thing. Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Have a good night, y'all. I love every single one of y'all.
That does not mean, oh, we can go crazy like it's over. It is not over. They are going to be outside in the streets. They are going to be waiting for us to act like animals and act the fuck out so they can have a reason to hurt us. Please, go home peacefully, come back tomorrow morning, and we're going to do it all again.
Hey, y'all want to march again?
Let's get it.
Hello? Hey, I need everybody to pay attention real quick. I need everybody to pay attention real quick. Everybody. Can y'all hear me? Alright, so we made a deal. And we made a deal. If he kneeled with us, we're gonna disperse.
Peacefully.
Peacefully. That means no breaking into buildings, no none of that. Everybody's going home.
Peacefully. They said we're gonna come back tomorrow and do it all again. Okay?
But that, all it takes is a little time, but we're gonna get to where we need to be. So,
This is just a stepping stone, y'all. Just because we were going home, do not think we lost. We did not lose. We are one step closer to getting exactly what we want. So if that means we gotta go home to come back and do it all again, that's what the fuck we're gonna do. If we have to do it next month, then that's what we're gonna do. If we gotta do it next year, then we're not going to stop. So when y'all go home, please be safe. Don't antagonize them. They're gonna be out on the streets making sure that everybody's getting home safe. Okay?
Remember, we did not end with the riot today. We ended with a peaceful protest. Please go home. Listen up, no. Please go home so they do not lie about tomorrow and say we ended it with the riots. Say we ended it with a peaceful protest with no curfew.
alright, listen, y'all. We don't need nobody going home alone. If you're going home, make sure you're with somebody.
If you need a ride, ask. If you need a friend to walk with, ask, okay? Do not go alone.
Do not go alone because there are people riding around in trucks, bro. We don't need nobody to get hurt. So do not go home alone. Please find a ride or please ask somebody for a ride or do something to get home safe. Make sure you make it back to your family tonight.
Even if y'all gotta make it.
We love y'all. We love all our people. We love y'all.
Talk to me. What's your first name?
My name is Dario, last name D-A-R-I-O, D-A-R-I-O, last name Rossin, R-O-S-S-I-N.
Tell what did this moment mean tonight for you?
This moment is a small stepping stone to something big, to stop racism.
Do you expect you guys to kneel together like that?
Next time, all of them to kneel with us. That's what we expect next time. Thank you. Today we made a small stepping stone to something really big. Look at this, a very diversity group. And we all ended peaceful today with no riots, with no breaking homes, no burning. None of that.
Oh, hey, I was looking for you guys.
Hey,
oh my God, thank God.
no, I got the big one.
For you.
What else do you want to tell me about tonight?
Tonight has been full of emotions.
I'm just saying you guys are great. Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell everybody if you want to donate. Thank you. You matter. Black Lives Matter.
I really wanted to write. I was like, no. We gotta peacefully
Use your
resist.
platform.
We gotta peacefully resist. The mayor came today talking about everyone go home. Why would we go home if this happened today? The mayor did not walk with us. She instantly left home. She's not with us. Those people will be with us pretty soon. This is a small stepping stone. That's all I gotta really say. This is beautiful. This is really beautiful. I never thought I'd be leading a group full of so many diverse, so many sexualities, so many everything. It's a peaceful, small stepping stone. This is a really peaceful day. This is a moment in history. This is a real moment in history.
Thank you, young man, for being out here,
Thank you.
leading the people peacefully. You are inspiration. You and the ladies. Pass that on, please.
Yo, man. Spoonful of honey will help your throat and your vocal cords. I was in the Air Force. I had to yell a lot. Spoonful of honey. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Back, what do you want to do?
Well, have a good day today, y'all. Hope y'all sleep good and be safe.
Thank you, Dario.
Thank y'all for recording everything. Show everyone we can have a peaceful protest. Let's still resist.
want to tell them something about this game.
I'm going to go ahead here, guys, and flip my camera around. Give me a second. Back camera, front camera. Okay, let's see. There we go. That looks like it worked. All right, Kellan Heavican here. We are on the north steps of the Capitol building. You can see that in the rear view if I figure out how to get this to work with my phone. And simply an amazing moment tonight. 9 minutes kneeling. And Jack is talking with Dario right now. You just heard him there at the very end. I probably should have my earbuds in, and the crowd is mostly left. Really a historic moment tonight in the capital city in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I tell you what, we'll talk with Jack here momentarily. Looks like he's on his way over. Okay. All righty, Jack. Let's see if I can figure out how to run this.
Let's start walking back to it. Can we talk while we walk back to our car
you
since
hold.
we parked way too far away?
All right. Yeah, I guess we don't need to have our faces on here. We can walk and show this as we walk home. You say,
Jack, you're going to hate me for asking you this question. I noticed during one of those speeches you got emotional.
oh my gosh.
Why did you get emotional?
Well, I'll tell you what. The guy got up and talked about how he lost his dad in 2005, and I lost my dad in 2015. So, and to see him get emotional like that, and I think just everything in the evening. And I know you got. This is what happens when you send a talk show host out here to do this thing. We're allowed to. I guess I'm allowed to have feelings and to have some opinions. So, what kind of building this is? I think it's a state office building.
Yeah, so you just like walked like behind there, and another guy was like watching for him, and he like walked in the door. So like someone's inside there right now, and he looks really like sketchy as fuck.
How do you walk in the door? Is it not locked?
Like it opened and walked inside. Like it literally was. And then he asked another guy walking by that like.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, I don't really know what to do with that. It's all boarded up. Oh, there's no law enforcement anywhere anymore. I would tell someone if I could. Ooh, probably should have picked that up. Talk conversation about cheating on someone's cousin. All right, hey guys, I want to give some more sort of thoughts on that, but I'm gonna at least see if I can't.
Very good. I called my mom.
Okay, we reported that to law enforcement. So hopefully they'll take a look. You know, you just never know with all the rumors that were out here tonight. But Kellan, I mean, did you ever expect that this night would end up like this? I mean, here we are, just trying to, never in my wildest dreams, which, you know, maybe that's what they were saying tonight, is we want to make you realize that this is, and they did it, and they were young people from Lincoln, and that thing could have gotten away from them in multiple spots tonight. And it never did because they were absolutely committed to making sure that there were not things said about. Hold on a second. Yeah, we got people looking over here still. All right. Okay, you were tweeting. You're like my son. Get off your phone so you can talk to me.
Hey, you were crying in there. No,
Oh, jeez.
I think when we set out tonight, this is not the outcome that we were expecting. I understand that it's still early. And I understand that emotions are still high, and I understand that people have certain feelings. But there was something different about tonight. When you're, you know, Jack, you and I were both up there on the front line. We captured the video, we captured the picture, and it,
Sorry.
it was
I
a real. Okay, we should probably obey. We should probably obey traffic
when we're on
laws.
live streaming. The police chief will come arrest me tomorrow.
It's simply there's peace is what that was tonight. You saw a glimpse of peace, and when the law enforcement officers went back into the Capitol and never came back out, you know, all this time over the last 3 to 4 days, we've heard trust. They don't trust us. We don't trust them. That tonight, them walking back in, nobody advancing.
Everybody felt a little unsure too. Everybody felt a little unsure, and then I don't know. I hope the pictures, I hope the video kind of told the story, what it was like out there tonight. And you could tell, I don't know, because they were talking the whole time, and I'm trying to figure out, and I assumed it was something like that they were talking about, and that one state trooper would go back up and have conversations with the law enforcement officers that were up there. I don't know if they were National Guard or police or a mix. But the leaders in the front continue. How old was the guy you were talking about who had the flag?
At the very end,
I mean, he
Dario,
was.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
Is his name Dario?
Yeah, I think that's what he told me.
Yeah. So anyway, we are walking back to our car. I don't know any other thoughts you want to say because we parked a long ways away.
We got to go that way.
Because we are idiots.
Well, you told me not to park close.
Well, we were. I thought tonight was going to end up potentially in cars being smashed, and not at all.
We do have to go. Well, we do have to go back quite a ways. I guess the one thing that I would add, there was a water bottle thrown at the very beginning at the Capitol steps, and talking about. A lot of times, I think leadership is about not making a certain decision to do something, and that state patrolman who had his hand out to the law enforcement officers dressed in white gear, he said, "Do not come down those steps." And had he not done that, we would have not have had a historic moment in Lincoln. It's as simple as that. And so to understand and see what that means is in and of itself.
The fact that it all ended up like that, and you know, there still could be things that happen tonight. But I'll tell you what, this group that was there, you know, unless they're, this is not the leaders of this group. That is not where this is coming from. Okay.
Well,
there is no doubt they've negotiated their way to get here tomorrow again, and they negotiated the entire time. They were savvy. They were smart. They were kind. I just.
And Jack, here's the thing. They were the next generation that did it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's a red light.
We have the walk sign.
Oh, sorry. We do have the walk sign. What's up, guys? Just friendly to everybody.
Well, it's a lot to discuss tomorrow. That's
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, yeah. So I think we're going to sign off. I don't know. We haven't seen any of the comments. Thank goodness.
Probably would have.
I would have gotten fights. This is a great system. This way I don't have to see the comments.
There was a comment on YouTube and then on Facebook towards the end. I saw it mine, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
We got to
didn't see
thank
it.
Mark Vail and Caleb.
Yeah,
Caleb
I think
Heavican.
Caleb's still back in the studio running the show. It's almost 11 o'clock. Yeah, Caleb, he can. Hey! So, can you hear us, Caleb? Okay, I got Caleb in my ear.
I'm just gonna nod and say yes.
He'll
like
just
I
nod and
normally
say
do.
yes. So what did it look like? I'm just curious. What's the reaction? But we've got no reaction anywhere. What's the reaction in the city to what's happening right now?
So I was able to, as I was driving around, because I went and investigated a couple of rumors, and it is just eerily quiet across town. But I know you guys weren't able to see some of the comments, so I'm going to read to you guys just a couple of them. One of them said, "This is so moving, absolutely beautiful," and one of them that we showed here was this comment that said, "This is wizardry symbolism. They're kneeling for 9 minutes. That's exactly what the cop did to that dude. Kneeled on his neck for like 9 minutes." And actually, you talked about being emotional in those moments. But that 9 minutes, that was quiet for 9 minutes, and to be quiet for that long and to kneel for that long 9 minutes really is. And all that symbolized.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll be looking forward to reading all that. Kellan had one more thing he wanted to say.
I wanted to say something. At the very end, the chance turned to Lincoln, and
yeah,
that I had goosebumps there. And tonight, I'm proud of our city and for what we accomplished. I get the night is still young because everybody's going to go, well, Kellan, there's still a lot left in tonight. And you're right, but at least for that moment in time, I'm proud of it.
But what that group did tonight, and yeah, okay, we're going to hear it. They shut down the streets and they violated the curfew. But the amount of good that they did, and we see what's happening all over the rest of the country tonight, and I'll give credit to that group of leaders there.
And I may be a tad cynical when I say this. The people that are going to complain about them breaking curfew are the ones complaining about the curfew being issued to begin with.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Maybe we'll have one of them on the show. What did he say real quick when you talked to him? I could barely hear.
It was he's not satisfied. It was a great first step. He wants more. And I suppose if you organized what they organized tonight without any harm, might as well keep going.
One glass bottle at the City County building, one water bottle, plastic bottle at the Capitol, immediately, and then
the resistance by the State Patrol was astounding. That because not reacting to that changes the entire evening. We're not talking about this. We're talking about.
And I didn't even see that. I didn't even see that happened. Did it go way up where they were standing?
No, it's probably 3 or 4 feet from where I was standing.
By the way, I got some sweet shots because where the moon was when they were kneeling. And then I filtered the bejesus out of them on Instagram.
Big Instagram guy?
Because of the filters, makes crappy photographers into amazing ones. Now just like me.
Okay, it's time to.
Woo!
It's time to hang up. You're off.
Is anybody even watching anymore? That's the other good thing is we can't see how many people are watching.
I don't know, but Jack, hang up because you're getting loopy on it.
All right, he's saying hang up. Time to go back, get a couple hours of sleep, come back, and I can't wait to talk about this tomorrow. Hopefully the radio works. Joe Jordan, News Channel Nebraska, will join us. He's been covering Omaha, so I'm sure we'll contrast Omaha just a little bit. John Baylor, I think, is going to join us. He'll tell us if there's going to be volleyball games. I hope everybody had a great night. I hope everybody is, I know it's still rough around the country, and I know we're still disagreeing on a whole lot of stuff, and I'm not even going to look at the comments site of this tonight. But if you watch what happened there and weren't encouraged about this city, I don't know. You must have a heart of stone. Because that's how I came away tonight, and I'm proud. I'm proud of Lincoln right now. And you know what? I definitely, I came in expecting things. Call it prejudices. I don't know. And they didn't happen. And the night did not go as I made assumptions that it would, because I didn't assume those people were there, especially people that young. And I can admit that. It was good to listen to them tonight. And listen, I'm doing a freaking emotional soliloquy, and you got to ruin this thing. I got thousands of people watching me, I assume. I don't know. It could be no one. All right, anyway, I'll end it at that. I was getting a little too sappy. I hope everybody has a great night. We are going to end this thing now so Caleb can go home. He's probably telling us to leave. Have a great one, Caleb. We will see you tomorrow. Tune us in tomorrow, KLIN app, 1400 KLIN.